level?
shooting grades.
I bet he does.
If you think, did you ask him if he does? Did he come shoot some grades with us tomorrow night?
Is that what we would need to make a patio?
Yeah.
Yep, we have one.
Sets it up, looks through a thing, you shoot, or somebody holds a rod like this.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
Those plexiglass things.
I can't handle it. Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I took my desk.
I gave my desk away. Everybody said get rid of your furniture, so I was like, I never sit at it anyway. I just house all sorts of crud in there. It's nothing like, so I got rid of my desk and then they gave me the plexiglass. I was like,
Go lean, go mobile.
yeah.
I
So I
feel
don't
like
have
I
a
was a
place
bank
to
teller.
put it. Yeah.
Like, would you like to deposit something? Thank you.
Yeah.
Cash flow. Yes. So now I just wear a shield instead.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not sure.
I can't do the glasses and the mask.
Doing the intent here.
Pardon?
I'm not sure these are accomplishing the intent.
No, they don't, but they were given to us by the state of Maine, so we took them, but no, it doesn't seem to accomplish anything. But we're trying.
But a glare. It accomplishes a glare.
Right. Something has to look through.
Yeah, if you want to, we can take them down.
Oh, no.
You just have to be careful that you take them down from the bottom, because the
No.
pieces come out,
No.
as I found out.
Time to go.
6:30.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll call the meeting to order and start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Rolling right through that.
Really do it.
We have a little practice.
Times a day.
Okay, I am completely unprepared, I apologize. We
Same.
don't written work. Let's see, let's go over kind of updates of the last month or so, some of the council meetings we've been to and kind of what directive we've been given or what directive we're taking at least and believe it's approved. So we met Tuesday night? Tuesday?
Yes.
We came to the council meeting and not winter rec, the skate portion of the winter rec was on the agenda. And the council kind of, I guess I technically voted and approved moving forward with winter skate as submitted with the safety plan that Lindsay pulled together. There was very thorough and that's how you gotta come in. It's a lot of information and don't come in shooting from the hip. Trust me, it doesn't work that well. So we're gonna go forward with that, which means signups is the next thing.
Today would be the first day that people could have started, and I was gonna post, but I wanted to do it at the conclusion of this meeting tonight, just like a reminder. You can start signing up now. The town council has approved to move forward with winter sports under strict guidelines for COVID and just kind of a global Facebook post that tells everyone, like, go ahead and start submitting. The one thing I wanted to run by you guys is, what are your thoughts on, and Catherine, you can tell me if this would be okay, if we take payment, if we wait to take payment until the first night that we go live, and here's why. If we stay in the yellow, if everybody pays, and for some, like, I don't think this is gonna happen, but what if we don't ever get the program off the ground? Would it be easier to just not have taken money, or to refund the money? Do you know what I mean? Like baseball last year, the T-ball program, everybody paid, it was right when COVID happened, and then nothing went on, so we all ended up with refunds. But I bet that was a pain for you.
We can do the refunds in unique circumstances, but I would have suggested the same thing. Just collect the money that night.
That
But if
first
you
night.
do, a lot of people do pay by cash, so you have to have enough change.
Right.
To be able
And we
to
could
do
go
that.
prepared for the, like, we'll have enough notice to know that we're in the green and we're,
Is it 20?
it's $20, yeah.
So that's a, nice even number.
Yeah, so I was thinking if it's, I didn't want to have, I guess people can pay ahead. If we, for some reason, we didn't get out of yellow, which I don't think that's going to be the case, but we might get a very limited, like, rec skating season in, potentially, and I would feel bad having people pay and then not get their money's worth. I don't know.
So, I might be confused.
is rec skate approved to go forward right now? Even
Only
in
if we
ye-
get out
even
of
in
yellow. Yes, as long as we come out of yellow.
So
We-
not in yellow?
The rink can run, we have to get the rink going, but we can't bring people together based on the COVID, like, the community, like, Department of Economic, they have a guideline that says all community sports practices or competitions should not happen in yellow status.
Indoor or outdoor doesn't specify?
It doesn't specify, it says either.
Okay.
But we're not doing anything, we're not really gonna be competitive ever, it's gonna be all skills and drills anyway. But I still, like I said at the meeting, like, until we're in the green, I would feel more comfortable, but maybe we can, I don't
No,
know.
I think it makes sense.
I don't think we're gonna make it into the green, at least for a while.
Well, yeah, for a bit, so at least Somerset, I mean, there's only there's 5 counties in Maine right now that are yellow, everyone else is green. But Somerset's in a tricky spot right now, so I don't think we're gonna have to worry about this till after the new year anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't wanna take money, I just started thinking, is it easier to take money on the first night? Cause then we'll be live, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree, I definitely wouldn't.
Is it worth putting the sign-ups out where you're projecting that it probably wouldn't be until after the new year? Like, is it worth doing that
We
now?
like to know, like, cause we have to recruit coaches, and it's better to have the signups in and be ready and waiting on it than I think, like, I don't know, it just takes a little bit to recruit. We need to kind of know our numbers so we can know
Yeah.
how many bodies we need to be able to
We
do
were,
it.
we were actually approved to do signups for the other winter sports as well.
Okay,
Only signups without taking money to gauge numbers.
Right.
Knowing that they would also be likely after the new year.
right,
And that was at
nothing,
that first meeting we came to, Catherine.
It was, but I think that you're more focused on the skating rink, so people may not think back to taking sign-ups for other items. But if you did do that and come up with a sign-up sheet for some other activities, so just tell them that you're gauging, we just would have to make it clear on the top, gauging interest only.
right,
I think that would be
If,
fine.
yeah, if we're waiting for green for skate, that's the same case for basketball and other sports, I believe, right?
right. And now just a clarifying point, like, the skating rink has to start happening because you can't just turn on a skating rink.
Yes.
So the public aspect of it, like, come here and skate by yourself or with your family, wear your mask, whatever, that can happen now, but not like bringing the kids together in an organized fashion. Like, that's kind of the way I want it to be. Like, if someone's skating next month by themselves with the family, I would say that's fine. It's just we can't hold rec activities. Do you know what I mean? Does that make
It's a
sense?
public park.
It's a public park and it can be
Park.
utilized as such, but we wouldn't be encouraging gatherings by calling together groups of people.
Like those skating lessons you guys did and all that.
Right, we would hold off on those if we're yellow and go forward with them in green. So why don't we, hold off on money until the night of the first thing, assuming it's after the new year, and we'll go from
Yeah, I
there.
agree.
If that's okay.
So any forms that are given out, we've got to put an explanation on it, so that people understand what's going on.
Yeah, and I can we
Yeah.
put it out just to see, I don't think anyone really, we probably could have just waited and put it out after this meeting, but I don't think we got any in today anyway.
Well, you had said, can you put on Facebook page, so.
Yeah, and I got some people
Facebook page.
asking and inquiring and expressing interest, which was great, but then the council, we wanted to wait for the council to definitely say yes, and they did. So now we can tweak it and put it back out. I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference. We can
And that
explain
was-
it to them.
That was just for skate, Lindsay?
Yeah.
It was
This
just
is the
for
only thing on here is learn to skate and
sign.
learn to play.
Okay.
Still no competition essentially, but just learning to skills and drills.
So if you do anything else, I would keep it separate from this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I will make the modification to this and put a little explanation of like, we are gonna hold off on taking payment just because we're in the yellow. Until the night of the first, and we'll obviously communicate, so put in your paperwork if you're interested and be prepared to pay your money, but
That's a good idea, yeah.
but we won't take your
Yeah,
money
the first
until.
day or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's that, and then,
We'll have to have somebody administering that first night, with the paper that it's checking off or
Yeah.
something, paper account and stuff like that.
yeah, cause that might take a little bit.
Because a few of you guys will be very busy,
Oh, yeah, it's,
like, a lot of guys with kids and stuff, so. So that seems like that's underway. If we're gonna revise, I'd pull that post down Facebook if it's been posted already.
It went out like end of last week, Thanksgiving, and,
Okay. But you can pull it.
you could
yeah.
just pop in the new doc, take the
Or
picture
pop-
out,
replace the
edit the
document.
post, and put the new one in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
People probably haven't even had really a lot of time to deal with it.
Sean Stackhouse is the uploader, so I sent it to him, and then a couple days later he goes, done, and I was like, great.
Yeah, so we can just, edit that post
Cause
and
it's not
take-
like super easy, you have to, I think you have to scan them. And
make it a
sometimes-
PDF, like an image.
It's not just like, unless you snap a picture of it and put it in a post.
Right, which we, yeah, it's just so big, like, I wish there was a better way, I don't know.
To what?
But just to get it out there, it's multiple pages and it's
So
fine.
generally, we always send one copy to the schools.
Yeah, and that's, so if we can do that, I think that would be good, so maybe I'll tweak this tomorrow and we can get copies made and out in backpacks like first of next week.
Right.
That's really how we get, I think, 90% of our signups anyway.
I don't know, like, can you upload a fillable PDF form on Facebook or?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No, you can't, I
Or
don't
like a
believe
native
it.
Word file.
Not an editable PDF, I don't believe so.
Yeah,
You can do
just
pictures
get
and
the
you
PDF and then you download the file and then.
Well, that's what Sean said, he said, whatever you
Oh,
want me to
yeah.
put form on Facebook, just send it to me and I'm gonna do something and put it on there.
Are you talking about the PDF editor version you can do, Jen?
Or fillable forms.
Yeah,
On Facebook you can?
the Pinnacle one is,
Oh.
I believe.
I think you can post a fillable form.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't realize
download
that.
and it has blanks where you type in information.
Oh, I didn't realize you could do
I
that
think,
now.
I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, cool, that's awesome. I haven't had tried to do it in so long because I used to not be able to, but now I'm
Right,
able
yeah.
to. This was like 5 years ago.
So that's trooping forward, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so I'll send
Um,
something new to you tomorrow.
Other winter rec activities, the only thing we traditionally have done, other than the new skate, is what, cheering and basketball? So is the next step to put our safety plan together for cheering and or basketball? Understanding obviously it'll fall under much the same circumstance, if it's able to happen, it'll be after New Year. Does that make sense, to put the safety procedures together for that? Get those at least reviewed and pre-approved pending, like, I don't know, review again before we actually, if we put it in next week to the council, a month from now, when we go green, they're probably gonna wanna meet again and just say, yeah, okay, we think we're in a good enough spot to go.
Or at least know what's going on.
Yeah.
Have an update.
Yeah.
So could I just recommend for basketball, in my mind, I'm thinking like grades 3 through 6 I don't know that it makes sense to do anything under 3 through 6 because the number of kids in the crowd and the parents that go, it's just, I don't think it's doable.
Well, I had made some notes today and that was one question. Are they gonna allow spectators in or is it just gonna be the kids and the coach?
Kids in the
So then if
Right.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
throughout my years, yes, cutting out K2 would be a great idea because none of those kids go by themselves to basketball practice. They always go with a parent.
And it's not doable. If you're the coach, you can't get work done without other parents there to help.
I agreed with you.
Well,
on that.
yeah, I mean, I guess you define coach, a lot of coaches will have an assistant coach or something like that, but
I think it, and I
having
think it,
5 parents out there is probably.
well, I think it might be valuable that you, especially we talked about this, like if you want to, I feel bad for the younger kids in the community that won't be able to do it, but if you set it up so that you say, we have assistant coach, and then we have these designated parent helpers that become part of the, like you guys will be here so that parents can say, okay, I can leave my second grader here and come back in 45 minutes, go wait in my car, whatever, go to Hannaford. And I know there's 5 adults running this program safely, and it's 3 of them are helper parents and 2 of them are coaches, and they keep the kids. I'm not saying we go to that length, but I'm just saying like 3 through 6 is certainly easier, but we would have to have a very controlled K through 2 environment and or enough helpers to be able to facilitate to doing it safely. You can't just put one coach in there like with 18 kids, it just won't work.
We've been there.
It does not work, you're right.
So
Well,
I'm
and the adults are valuable. There are some students that really should have a one-on-one in the basketball in the gym.
I mean, I've definitely done stuff where up to like 4 of us was needed to
Yeah.
try and run a drill with 12 kids or whatever.
So I don't know if you try to gauge interest in the front end and say, if we're gonna run a K-2 program, we need to solicit 3 parent slots and 2 coach slots, and if we can't meet that, we won't have the program, just to incentivize parents to help, or would you think it's easier just to call it and say
I
no?
would not recommend K kids.
Yeah, I agree.
K kids half time won't go in there without their parent anyways.
I mean, like, I think it probably suffers a little bit, you know, like my son's 2nd grade. He could definitely go, like, I mean, last year it was Jake Moore and Luke Ross, and those kids all are very capable, have focus, pay attention, play. They may be
Right.
an exception, but they were 2nd graders. I didn't
Right.
think that age
I
group.
mean, you could start with 2nd grade, like second.
Yeah, I
through
would do
sixth.
it by
K
grade
is, K is
level.
definitely chaos. 1 is pretty
Borderline
chaos.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely would have to do it, I would say, 1 grade at a time. Like, you couldn't do a grade span, there's too many kids.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
couldn't do a K1 program. I really don't think you could. I mean, we could, yeah, do a 2 program, and then, or maybe we say Vickery kids, no, because that's 1st grade.
I think what my recommendation would be is find out how much gym time you can get and where you can get. I mean, you can have all these notes kind of ready to go, and then if Vickery says, no, you can't use this gym at all, you can only use Warsaw like 2 nights a week and all day Saturdays, that's really gonna cut down on the amount of programs you can offer. If you can use
That's what I was
Vickery
gonna
gym and Warsaw gym, that's different.
that's good.
Have we had any approval from any of the schools?
No.
And I honestly, I'd be shocked if they allow it.
So then,
So we
I
could
think
just
if you
be-
can only get specific gym time, you might wanna start with the Warsaw age-ish kids and then kind of work your way down based on the availability of the gym. I mean, yeah, the Warsaw gym is big, and if you can get it a lot of times, and maybe you can do like 2 or 3 times on a Saturday just for K1 kids, you know, 1 or 2 times by themselves, just for a little clinic or something like that.
Maybe we
But if
could-
you're really not getting a lot of gym time, then you gotta
Yeah,
figure out how to dispense it.
I don't know, I mean, there's absolutely nothing else going on in the gym, so if we get access to the gym, I think it's gonna be pretty unlimited. You know, if they let us use Vickery
Warsaw
Gym,
sports.
Oh, Vickery gym?
Like, it's
Warsaw
gonna be all-
sports
like-
are potentially, like, they're not like a full-fledged thing, but there are feelers out right now about whether Warsaw sports are going to, some way, shape, or form happen.
oh yeah, and I hope they do, right, they would definitely have to work around that.
Right.
Like-
Speaking from a Vickery standpoint though, storage is a big issue, and we have new lunch tables that we're not even able to put away fully. So I highly doubt for
We have them in
A
our gym
plethora.
too. Half of our gym is,
Cafeteria.
cafeteria.
the blue, yeah, so, and those are becoming a problem, so, I mean, our gym teacher is not even using our gym right now. So,
Right.
I feel like from a Vickery standpoint, I could be wrong, and I will absolutely ask the question.
You might be looking at like all day Saturdays or something. and
Right.
just Getting it from like 8 in the morning till 8 at night and then just going hour by hour by hour.
Yeah.
What about the Palmyra gym? Is it still an option to rent that?
So they said they weren't renting it out at all
Oh.
to anybody. And
Alright.
then, like, my daughter's dance recital is there next week, so I don't know if that's changed or what.
I don't know, I haven't looked into it because we don't really have sports on hold, so.
Would it be worthwhile to contact the schools and ask them under what conditions would they allow us to go into the gym? Just so they know that
So
it's.
we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people that work there and a school board member making up your committee, so I think
Yeah, we can ask
We
them.
could probably know pretty quickly.
probably,
We ran into this in the fall too, was that we couldn't do soccer at Warsaw because we allowed homeschooled kids and remote learners, so I don't know if Warsaw's
I
gonna
would
have
be
rules
against
about
that.
that again too.
just so you know.
Right. Yeah, and we're not
Right.
allowing parents, we're not even allowed, our children who, like, we teach, like my child, or no, Jen's
My child.
children can't go in Warsaw school because
Yeah,
they
mine
attend Vickery. So
Yeah.
our children aren't even allowed to intertwine within the buildings.
Oh, that
So
could- that could be a
I-
big factor
that's what I'm
in this,
saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's more to do with,
Starts in front now.
that's more to do with crossing with other students from the other school, not necessarily about the facility itself, right?
Right.
or staff.
The likelihood of.
It's not about like surfaces and stuff like that.
No, it's not about surfaces. It's just about the potential for contact.
Contact with another
Yeah,
person.
outside of your cohort.
So
outside of
if
whatever.
everything was limited to age groups, it's an uphill battle,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about remote learners and homeschool kids. If we went into the school, they would not be allowed to participate.
Right.
No, I
So
can't.
then-
Remote kids, definitely not, but I feel like our conversation, and maybe I'm wrong, this fall, I thought the conversation was that homeschool kids, like, the law says that they can participate.
If it's a Warsaw, it's a school sport, the rec, I don't
Right,
think rec
for
can
school,
say
I'm
that-
sorry, for
that it-
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for school, they're supposed to be able to. It's a
Right.
very funky situation that went on in the fall. I'm not sure that will happen again in the
No.
winter, but it could. I hope that it doesn't, because honestly, it was a little bit
Yeah, because they
unfortunate.
didn't allow homeschool to participate.
Which is a law that you have to. But because of the pandemic, I think they were like, we'll take that chance if somebody brings it
Yeah.
up as an issue, and I don't think
And
they
as
have
a
an
rec,
issue with
as
it.
a rec, we would have a real hard time being able to say that if the stipulation
That would be
was,
horrible.
you can use it as long as it's within the school the kids already go.
And it would be horrible
You
to
know,
put that on the sign-up sheet too.
Like Vickery
Oh,
kids
why
can
would-
practice in the Vickery gym because they're already in
Right.
Vickery.
So we wouldn't
But
be,
homeschool kids can't come.
Right.
That would be put the rec in a really tough position.
Now that they've tightened up the actual guideline, like the MPA and the DOE have come together and along with like the community sports, like state recommendation, it's different than the fall. Like before those entities were not coming together and talking, they were allowing them to operate outside of that. So I think because the assumption is once you're in green, you can actually do these things, that mixing of those groups of people is not as high risk because you're in the green anyway. Do you know what I mean? So having homeschool kids there or different cohorts that you're in the green, your transmission is low, and right now we're not in that situation, so we're not gonna run anyway. But if we get back to green, then I think we should allow for remote and homeschooled kids to be a part of rec, because this may be the only interactions that they get.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just approach it with the school, it needs to start with sharing, and the school board technically approves it, or disapproves it.
Right,
The school board had to vote for the fall,
right.
which certainly could add to the agenda, and I would want to have facts on why we should be able to or shouldn't be allowed to.
Well,
Look
certainly
for
people could, yeah, they could
More
make
educated
some
people.
points.
Their big thing in the fall was not, you're gonna catch it off a blade of grass or off a bleacher. It was, they were working extremely hard to get back into school and have 3-foot spacing and masking and not touching each other, not going near each other. And then as soon as the bell rings, they run out on the field and they're all over each other playing and wrestling, and, which is exaggeration, but that was the point, was, that was the point. I mean, yeah, okay, it can happen, you know, at a park or playing pickup ball in somebody's driveway, but it would be hypocritical if we let it happen on our campus.
Right, and I
That was
think
kind
the
of
data now around school transmission rates being less than half of community transmission rates, like, is telling to say that school is a safer place for kids to be physically interacting. Granted, school / after-school programming, whatever,
Very
that's a
different.
different, you could look at that two ways. But I would say the kids in the cohorts in the district are not, they're not as high a risk inside the walls of the school building that they are out in the community. That's a fact. They put that out last week. It's 8.8, I think, was the transmission rate inside schools versus 19.3 or something in the generalized community. I don't know.
It's good.
They'd be following the guideline, like wearing masks and all that. I just, it's pre-screening, hand sanitizing, wearing masks, doing your best to distance. It's that comprehensive approach to mitigating the spread of the virus. It's not just one thing. It's not just keeping one set of kids away. You know what I mean? It's about making sure you're not sick if you're there. Asymptomatic transmitters don't, you know what I mean? Like kids that don't have symptoms that are there won't transmit the virus as readily anyway. So I think there's a lot of data that would support allowing these groups of children to be together
And then we-
from the same geographical area. You know what I mean? Like,
When you help with that, yeah.
yeah.
So, safety plan, which would include kind of, what are we proposing? We're proposing skills and drills, or after a certain age group, like 5th and 6th or something like that, is that actual games and stuff. So we'd have to figure that out,
against each other or other towns?
and just within the town. I would say.
Yeah.
Right, okay,
I don't
right.
think other towns is,
No, I agree, I was just curious what your thought process was
I don't know.
there. Okay,
That was just in my mind, but.
yep,
Did you
I
have
agree.
something to say,
Yeah,
Jamie?
no, and also, we have to look at who would be doing the cleaning of facilities,
exactly.
of bathrooms and all that kind of stuff, like, would we have to have one of the custodians, or would it be on the coaches, who was it? That's the other thing we have to think of that way is, because I know if we do it in the schools, they're gonna wanna know, how's it being cleaned, how's it being kept, and
Right.
that kind of stuff.
I would think Warsaw would have their own because usually whenever we have Warsaw Gym on all day Saturdays, they have their own maintenance person there.
Yeah.
And they're just there with us. And then if we leave early, like used last year, I would just let Mike Fowler know we're only gonna be here till 4, and he'd be like, great, he'd tell the maintenance guy,
Okay.
so.
I think we
He
would have
runs Fowler,
separate.
I don't know if he's still there, Mike Fowler,
Yeah.
but him and I communicated a lot last year, and he always had a maintenance person there on the Saturday, because they always have one at night anyways, I assume, they always have a nighttime janitor. And then he would have somebody there on the rec Saturdays.
I think we would do things like limit it to one restroom, like the unisex
Oh,
restroom.
Warsaw did that
Yeah.
anyways, I think.
Oh, they don't use the, like,
You
not the
can't go
locker
up
rooms,
the-
like the
you
unisex
can't go up the hall.
restroom.
Well, they have the two out in the hall.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
that's,
there's
it, boy,
a- I think it's like Boy
Oh,
Girl, it's like kind
so-
of that way, but, and then they have in the locker rooms, but
Yeah.
we really didn't use the locker rooms all that much.
Yeah,
And without
maybe just-
having like a massive amount of spectators, that just cuts that way down anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
keep
really
the
just
bleachers
talking about the
closed,
kids
keep kids
and
off the
the coaches.
bleachers.
There's probably, Jeremy's right though, there's only gonna be half the gym available, probably.
Yeah, I don't
We
know,
have to
I don't know if
play-
they take those tables up or down, or I
Rather
don't know
than
what to do with them.
play sideways, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Something
those
like
sideways hoops, yeah.
Sideways.
Oh, 'cause
Something,
they're
I guess, I
using it
don't know,
for-
better than nothing.
For,
Yeah,
totally,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sideways would
I
work.
just haven't been there.
I know.
Well, I think one
They've
is like,
spread it
one
all
is
out.
9-8, the other is 10-4.
Yes.
So, safety plans, safety plan including like what our proposed program might be, and when the timing of that would be. Getting a facility, and then obviously going through the sign-up process and stuff, I think we get kind of three major things to get through, well, two major
Maybe
things.
part of your safety plan should be like keeping the teams like 10 or less, you know what I mean? Like groups of 10 or less or something like that. I don't know, instead of having like 25 kids all at one time,
Yeah.
split them up as much as you can, you know, evenly. So they're
Yeah.
not all there at the same time.
Well,
And I
it's
know
5 by
Jamie was
5,
saying about
so.
the groupings, like to keep it, I mean, we could always feel that out, I mean, if you only have 5 second graders and, you know what I mean, like, you could feel it out after, I
That's
don't
what
know
the
what
early sign-up
numbers.
would help us.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's what that early sign-up would help us.
Yeah, that would help us know if we can put them together or we have to separate, which would help us in the long run, and that wouldn't be so much time taken off.
It would also be good to do the feeling out for coaches too, and like was on your skating safety plan, I think it's important that we have coaches go through like a safety training,
Yeah.
because we're inside.
Yeah, like a coach's orientation.
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, we put that in the winter
Expectations.
rec about, doing a training, and it can be a virtual training, like you could have it all via Zoom or like a Google Meet or something, and everyone could tune in, and then you could just sign people off saying they completed the safety training and they know the expectation for indoor sports. That would be easy enough.
Because you could do a form too, a Google form, that they would type in that they agree to the above conditions.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
that would work too.
And have them sent it in, and it would be all in one document.
Yeah, that's a
Say,
good
and then
idea.
you can, you know, it's just a kind of like a binding thing that would hold them accountable of what is expected of them.
Yeah, if we were able to go forward, we gotta have like a reliable lead coach.
Yeah,
Because some years it's very fluid, like last year, John, Woody, and myself all kind of just in general.
right.
Sometimes one was there, sometimes another, sometimes we all were there. It was kind of just, nobody was the lead really.
And the other thing is roster keeping, like attendance for
Well,
contact
with
tracing.
you guys though,
we
you
need to
guys
know
all
that.
get the kids in the same grade, so that grade's stacked with coaches, but then you get these other ones. Like we had to have my son's high school friend be a coach last year of a 5th grade team, right?
It was ridiculous.
Because we had nobody.
Owen coached last year.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
our
mean,
fifth
TJ
and
Stewart was
sixth
coaching
grade
5th grade
group.
boys. That's 6th grade boys.
Nine. There's like 2 parents that volunteer ever.
I would think,
Unfortunately, you gotta, like, if you don't If we don't get a sign up by this date, it's canceled. And I think if they realize their kid's not gonna be able to play,
Mix that up.
Well, the
hopefully,
other thing with,
maybe not, I don't know.
with winter sports, it's a little bit different. We usually have girls' teams, like girls' basketball teams. I would assume this year they're probably just gonna be co-ed groups.
I guess it would depend on numbers, but probably.
Right, well, if you're gonna have enough teams to be able to play one another, you're gonna have to have a higher population.
Yeah.
And that's only just grades 3, 4, and grades 5, 6. Because K through 2, they're all co-ed.
Yeah. So probably COVID right up through.
And I did have a recommendation about 7th and 8th graders. If they participate in winter, try not to have them play with the 5th and 6th graders because they just dominated everything
Yeah.
in soccer and the kids didn't like it.
Catherine, based on our information from the fall, we would be okay to extend to 7th, 8th grade if they didn't have a school league, right?
I believe so.
That, I think that's how, we did that in the fall,
We
right?
did that in the fall, but I would guess that if the school even permits this,
Right.
that they will, if they permit it, then they'll probably have their own team, which, yeah, the fall was good. The 7th, there was the intramural program, I coached the boys soccer intramural. It was low attendance at the middle school level, like fraction of the numbers of kids that did it normally.
Yep.
And it was fine. It wasn't like super competitive, whatever, but it was nice that they had this other thing to go and do that was a competitive game environment for the kids that got to do it.
Yeah, I didn't even get to soccer. Did we have 7th, 8th grade?
Yeah,
doing
they
rec
played, they
soccer?
mixed in, and it was, they had a lot of time on the soccer field. It was
They
good for
did,
them.
and that's what the complaint was that they kind of dominated and
So,
took a lot of the playing time away from the little kids. And they
to
were
be
skating.
fair, I went to almost every single game, and it was very positive. It was probably the most normalcy I've seen in the last 6 months around sports. But there's always somebody that has something negative to say. There's always, and I found it interesting this year that there was a couple of naysayers within the realm of what was going on, sort of unnecessarily. So I was kind of a little put off by those parents that had a lot to say negative, because this was the first good feeling thing we'd seen in a long time. Hindsight's 2020. Our numbers were great back then. We were in the green, and we were, and now we're looking at a real situation where we may not be able to have
Right.
something, and it's like, those are the glory days last fall. Like,
Yeah.
or I
I
really,
didn't, yeah.
I thought the intramurals went well. I mean,
yeah, it went well. It was fine.
I mean,
It was
and at times we brought them all together. Like,
Yeah,
they-
it was
football,
good.
soccer, all of them, and they would compete and do stuff together, and
Yeah.
it was more team bonding and just kids being able to have fun for
But
once.
you could see there's a lot of emotional, and mental anguish going on in the youth right now, and so any normalcy we can create, I think, is a positive.
Yes.
Right. So the other thing, this is a little different than fall, but 6th graders can participate in Warsaw winter sports too. So 6th, 7th, and 8th can play basketball. So if we did get into like a numbers issue, we could prioritize 3 through 5. Do you know what I mean? Since 6, 7, and 8 would already have an option.
Yeah, that's a good
I thought it
idea.
was just 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
They can do, 6 and 6.
It's an A team, B team thing, so
Yeah.
6th graders can try out. So what they put out for feelers at school the past 2 days? I don't know, we talked about it, but, they put out if you think you might want to participate in something. Basically, we don't know what we can do, but if you think you might want to. It went out to 6, 7, and 8.
Is that
Did
consistent
they
with
not
other
have 6
schools
to
and
the
stuff?
fall intramurals?
Yep.
It is?
When we converted to being
They mix them up.
we were in the Piscataquis County League, kind of
Even with 6th graders?
playing,
In Warsaw.
Newport, Dover, Milo.
Better than Warsaw.
It changed from a 7th grade team and an 8th grade team to an A-B squad. And once that opened up, then 6th grade was able to
And
participate.
the
They all
football's
do
the
sixth
only one
grade,
that's
too.
like not
What's that?
The other communities do 6th graders and that as well?
Yeah.
7th and 8th.
So 6th graders can still do rec though, can't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that just, if we want to think about numbers, 6th grade could potentially be weeded out from that because they could be included in
Well, it sounds
Warsaw.
like 6th grade basketball players are really overextended because they play rec, they play travel, and they play for Warsaw in the past.
Yeah.
Do they travel too?
Yeah.
That's not everybody? Is that like a 5th and 6th grade travel?
There's a
Well,
travel team, there's a
depends
rec
on
program.
Who's coaching?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know, if there's motivated parents and you can have a 5th grade travel team, you can have a 6th grade travel team. If there's not, you can have a 5th, 6th grade travel team. Last year, we didn't even have a 3-4 travel team because we didn't have any coach. So I withdrew our participation from the league and nobody seemed worried about it at all.
Right.
One year we had like 3 boys travel teams. Because I think we had a combined 5th and 6th and then a 6th and a 7th, 5th and a 6th, I don't know. And then we had girls travel teams.
Okay.
Yeah, we can have a lot of travel teams.
But to the point of the 7th and 8th grade basketball, I don't know that we really need to go that far with the rec program maybe this winter, because it sounds like if the school's gonna have it, then they have that option, and we probably won't be doing anything if the school says no anyway, because there'll be no gyms, you know what I mean? So I feel like
Right.
maybe we just keep it on the lower end for now, for basketball, I don't know.
Keep it on the lower end, what do you mean?
Like grade wise, like stop out at like whatever whatever the grade that you.
Traditionally, rec was in 6th grade.
Because yeah, you don't see, I don't think 7th and 8th grade historically have done rec basketball, right? It's always got stopped at 6th, so I think maybe we keep it there. Don't go up to the 8th like we did for the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
That's kind of where
If
I'm
they
at.
let us use the gyms, it's likely because they're doing 7th, 8th grade in their own something anyway.
Yeah,
So.
and if they're
it'll be
doing it in a
redundant.
real winter thing, which is maybe what they'll end up doing, then great, and maybe they'll be willing to let us have gym time when they're not in there,
Right.
so.
Okay, so, let's think about, yeah, the safety plan.
I can forward this one, well, if you guys all have a copy, we can modify it to include the basketball. There is a specific section in there on basketball. They want you to wear masks the whole time, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But this
Right.
can be utilized for that meeting too, if you want.
All right, let's figure out that, we'll get to, somebody jump up and take lead on kind of starting something up with that. And I'll email Chris and see if we can get, winter sports is supposed to be on the agenda for next meeting anyway. For the next school board meeting, which is Monday. So winter sports is supposed to be on the agenda anyway. I don't know, was it maybe on the agenda? I don't know if that's been posted
It's
yet.
on there, I think. Oh, whether it's been posted, I don't know.
I haven't seen the draft agenda or anything yet, but, so we should be able to talk about that on Monday night. So,
Could MCI potentially, like, allow gym time or no?
it's always been a stretch, and I think we're pretty close to the,
And considering they're still remote right now, I don't necessarily know.
They're
that-
fully remote?
Well, just this
Just
week,
this week.
yeah.
Yeah, and
But,
that was just for a heat,
Oh,
like,
that was
But-
normal. Yeah, they were planning that.
yeah, but I'm wondering, with the Christmas break coming up, if they'll choose to do that again. And so if anything, it would be probably mid-January before they would even be back up and running again, so
yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't think.
You know more than anybody, Jeremy, but with the
Yeah.
international kids, some of the, I don't know.
the international kids, there's some gonna be staying throughout the whole holiday, that are just not going home. Others are just going to some, like, homestays if they find their own, like, they have, like, day friends or something like that, they can go to their place. If they decided to go home, like, for Thanksgiving, like, to their country, they're not able to return until January and go through a quarantine over in another dorm. When they come back, they have to quarantine for so long before coming back into the dorm. Like, they have a whole, it's pretty well set up to protect those that are there and protect themselves, with the travel and with all those kind of things. Like, they're getting COVID tests when they come back, they're getting COVID tests before they leave. I don't know if they would allow the gym time or not. I mean, I know right now they're using the gym time for the boarding students just
Right.
because we kind of know where they are, what they're doing, and they're all together, and that we have to give them some kind of outlet to do something. We can't take them on trips, we can't take them on anything else, so like, they are loving gym time. And they're limiting who can be in those gyms, and
I'll see Chris Monday at the board meeting, and Jim Leonard's wasn't my name, right? So I can ask him anyway,
I mean, the worst they can say is no.
I guess Nikki's position is really dancing, but we can try.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the worst they say is no. I mean, you know, I don't know, maybe rights not, maybe parks, maybe, I don't know how that would all work.
Good. Well, the next week or two, we'll try, kind of find it. I mean, the facility is the biggest thing, right? So, we've talked a lot about trying to do something even like a one-day type, eventy type thing, not a huge community gathering, but getting creative with something to do like in January or February or something. Anybody come up with like thoughts or something like that on a, obviously you're limited on community gatherings right now, but come January, February, things are different.
Yeah.
Something we might be able to do is just get kids or community outside. And anybody thought of anything on that front? I know we talked about cross-country ski session or something like that.
I did talk to Dawn and she said we could use the golf course for anything, like a snow and shoe, like a night snow and shoe with like headlamps for like kids and families. Like, she said there's like cool trails that go like through the woods that she thought like like obviously it's winter in Maine and it's January, February, you're gonna bundle up, but she's like, it could be really fun and you could do it by family. So like you send a family off and you go and then the next family could go and like, so we could set up some sort of like a day at the, I won't say the day at the golf course, but like you could do outdoor volleyball in one place and have everyone 6 feet apart, masked obviously, and do like a game or whatever, and you could do snow and shoe. If we're in the green and they're permitting that kind of stuff, we could definitely organize a little festival, but I'm sure the outdoor gathering limits would have changed if we end up in a situation where we're able to, it was like we were on the cusp of all that stuff getting better, and then November hit and it all went bad.
I see a Donner Party situation where
Yeah.
family takes off snowshoeing.
Yeah, someone's eating someone's leg. It's like, hey, didn't you just have breakfast?
Yeah, so I think we should kind of like keep that on the radar or something, and then mid-late January, early February or something like that, maybe we can have a nighttime event or something like that.
I think we should do virtual bingo.
Virtual bingo.
Like you get like a Zoom, get like a whatever, you send out the link and you get on, and I don't know even how many people you can have, but you have like the bingo master and like everyone plays in their house or whatever, and then like maybe for like the older, I don't know. I just think it's like we don't do a whole lot. Even though we're separated, I think we could connect virtually, more people in the community and do alternative virtual stuff. But I don't know. That's something
Our
we could
kids
do
are
anytime.
suffering. I think the elderly community is really suffering.
I agree. Like if they could, well, granted, the access to technology tends to be a barrier there too. It's not like they're all rocking around with their iPhones, like FaceTime everywhere, but families might join like a virtual bingo night and maybe have someone there that is in the vulnerable population, 65 and up or whatever, that wants to be a part of it. And I don't know, I think it could be something different that we could even do in the red or the yellow.
If we could find a way to reach the elderly, that would be good. We have people that call the town office just to talk.
Aww.
Quite a few now. We used to have just maybe a couple a week. We have a lot more now.
It is sad because it's not just that they're not going to visit other people, but their families can't even come see them.
Right.
So my grandmother's struggling with that. Ugh.
Yeah, mine too.
Do they use technology? Just curious. None?
Finally got her an iPad.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Just this past
I have to
week.
go once a week to fix her remote because it broke. The TV broke. I changed the input and I don't have it.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just look at
Neighbor
that as
goes
like a
over with her
virtual
iPad.
opportunity.
Think about that.
And we can FaceTime that way, but
Aw, that's
because her neighbor has the capability and then, but they have also started setting up computers and reaching out to the family members, like the place where she's at, and setting up Zoom meetings with the family. Like they have people who are helping them with the technology part, which is a cool thing too.
Yeah. When all of this is over, we should definitely do like a technology course for the elderly.
Yeah. Like an adult learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be so helpful for them.
Get the iPads from MCI that they either send back or get rid of, that you can get for a cheaper price to sell to them, like, cause I mean, a lot of them can't afford $800 iPads and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Could you set up like a somehow structured place in a library for screens? I don't know, I'm trying to think, is there a way that you could invite the elderly into the library with that kind of capability?
We're limited on the numbers of people, but certainly you could set up an hour or maybe 3 hours a week for just the seniors to come in. They're all separated. There's just a certain number of people in there. And you could have somebody walk around 6 feet away and help them.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. And then like have it be like they go, have that event be like when they can go there.
Yeah.
And then someone that can actually facilitate the technology piece for them and
Right.
keep them safe.
All right, that's interesting. That's a good idea. I'll talk to the librarian.
Yeah, that's a cool. Saturday night, man, 7 p.m.
Bingo
Let's do it.
night.
No, it's
Saturday nights
get
for
your
the
beverage
Saturday
of
day.
choice and your slippers on.
Get
Let's
your
do
dabber,
this.
get your dabbers ready.
Yes.
Well, that's a good idea. We kind of waved that flag when we first kind of set out that we really need to find some things for the elderly community as well. And obviously, we were thinking, in-person type things, and the curveball has really made it tough, but I think they're really struggling too. Okay, good ideas, good stuff. Any other winter-related rec activity type things that we can talk about?
Well, in regards to cheering, she's really flexible. She just needs like, 2 hours a week, some space, and she'll just do the skills.
Right.
She's pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think we would
They
include cheering with
usually practice
basketball
in
at
the
the same time.
cafeteria
kind
or
of thing.
Warsaw, so they just really just need a space.
Could you do cheering like through Google Meet? Like Maddie's doing ballet right now
I don't
through
know.
Boston,
For our coach
and
to
she's
do that.
doing it, but she's doing the ballet all over the Zoom.
Really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
like they're doing the high school girls that are in ballet. They're doing Zoom, and then they're doing it for the level 2s as well. And like tonight, Maddie had it from 3 to 4, and they're on Zoom and doing all their moves in the house. And
Lots of dance companies, I think, are switching to that right now.
but I'm just saying, like I know basketball's hard, but cheering would be a little bit more easier to find kind of like a space and do that kind of stuff.
Basketball through Zoom would be awesome. I'd
I'm
nominate. Me?
But hold on, we're gonna $300 to do it just so you can, each person gets their own
Post
basket
office.
delivered to their house.
Right? The buy-in is high.
The buy-in is high.
Basketball, you
So
gotta
we-
pay like $300.
But even if it's not in a school, like even like, I know this room is in high demand, but even if we can find a space like this.
Dribbling.
The library, for instance, has those rooms on the side. I don't
They've
know.
had
there's-
practice at the Elks before.
Yeah, there's so many places that we can ask.
Yeah, would we include cheering sign up on the basketball sign up form like we traditionally
That would be
have?
my recommendation, yes, because people look for that at the
They
same
do go
time.
together.
Yeah, okay. Let's,
But cheering, okay, so let's throw this out there too. Cheering is way less contact too. So even if basketball's not allowed, cheering potentially could.
She could.
yeah.
I don't know if it
it's
makes
spaced out.
sense,
It would
but
be in the green, we'd still want to be green, right?
in the green for sure, but then you also, I don't know, it was different, right? In fall, they classified the sports
Just
based
no
on their
periods.
contact.
They made modifications November 13th to that. So the leveling is the type of play, and cheering,
The risk categories or whatever.
levels 1 through 5, so let's see.
If we win against
They
them,
actually
it's out
call
there.
cheering a moderate. Yeah, it's
Full
here, it's
contact
moderate.
cheering.
Well,
Competitive and sideline cheering is in the moderate
Oh, so yeah, this is,
versus the
Because
level.
they're doing like basket catches and stuff.
Yeah.
Stunts.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
slugs and stuff, they're touching each
You
other.
just have to-
Right, but if they
no
don't do
pyramids.
If
stunts.
they don't.
So low risk
Or
batting cages, tennis, individual swimming, disc, regular golf, biking, surfing, horseback riding, fishing, hunting, motorsports, gymnastics is in here as low risk. martial arts, individual figure skating, individual speed skating, throwing events, jumping events, pole vaulting, skiing. Those are all low risk.
Rachel's cheering
Ice
is as
fishing
much a
club.
gymnastic
Right.
thing. You
That'd be
know,
fun.
tumble or rolls or cartwheels or
Right.
jump kick things, whatever they are.
Overplay.
Well, so we might be like, I don't know, I'm trying to be
They don't
creative to
have
get
to
these
stunt, they
kids.
just like to stunt. All cheerleaders like to stunt. I mean, they don't have to. They can
Oh.
do skills.
Right, so I'm thinking, for instance, if for some reason basketball couldn't happen, maybe instead of offering basketball, we ask if we could run a basic gymnastics course. Get somebody to run that instead. I probably shouldn't volunteer as coach, but I'm sure we could find somebody. Just adapt the programs to
Okay,
meet.
you're talking about forward cheering coach. Those people do not exist. And if they do, you pay them big bucks.
I know, but Susie, we all are in that position, and look at us volunteering.
But I mean, gymnastics teachers are really hard to come by.
They
But
have
there are
no
parents
company
that know the
gymnastics.
basics.
We have some students that could do it.
Yeah,
There are some students that work up at the gymnastics place right in Newport.
Right, yeah.
Ava McCannell,
yeah. I guess I don't see
Why?
gymnastics as being any different. You've
Yeah,
got these
Maddie-
adults that did it, and then
Gillis,
they
she
can
was
teach it.
great
They might not be able to do a
gymnastics.
split anymore.
Yeah,
They can
because
teach you how to do it.
Maddie did it the last summer. She did the gymnastics and McCannell was there. The Varney girl that, she's a ninth grader and,
Olivia?
Olivia, she was there. There's a bunch of younger girls there that do the gymnastics.
So are you saying, Jen, to like consider taking some of what we do and turning it into low risk stuff that we could do versus like if basketball's a no-go, fine, let's have an indoor track program, or I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's.
Let's
because it's on the
adapt
low.
our, right, because.
Or like let's expand cheering or gymnastics or something
Yeah.
and see if we can't. I think that's a good idea.
Winter track.
Winter indoor,
winter
but
throwing.
that's the tricky part, but.
I mean, we want to get kids active and we want to get them somehow together in a safe way.
Right.
And playing basketball, if that's what they do, probably is best
Right.
for them. But if not, let's try
And
something
even the
else.
outdoor avenue still is there to do other outdoor
Right.
stuff that we haven't talked about. That's,
Yeah.
Right, we
Well,
haven't
let's
even
look-
talked
can you
about
send that around
snowshoeing.
again? I know we all have access to it, but,
this guy right here.
yeah.
This is in the packet that I forwarded out. I think I put you back on it, on your
Oh.
personal email tonight.
Yeah.
I think I sent it to everybody. Did you guys get it? No?
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
So,
It's
yeah,
got
we
this
look at
packet.
the low risk things and see if we're inspired.
Yeah,
by-
you're in that packet, and so
Yeah.
I'd say we could look at, we have time, I mean,
Yeah. We can't do any of it until we're green
No.
anyway.
Oh, yeah, we got
We-
it.
But we wanna be thinking about it, right? If anything else, time flies by, spring will be here, but we know.
Yeah.
totally.
Just coming up with some of those ideas to have on the back burner.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Okay.
your low risk outdoor stuff, it says nothing competitive or practicing. So the individual aspect stuff, still I
Nothing
think.
competitive or practicing?
You can't practice or do competitions in yellow,
Right.
according to this.
Right, so when we're out of yellow.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm just always trying to look for that way that we can do something, but.
Right.
So are you, okay, so let me ask, I might not get this. So when we're green, are you anticipating that all winter sports are gonna be a go, like with protective, whatever?
Every district is given their own decision-making capacity on this one. So districts can be more strict than the MPA and DOE call for. That's
Right.
the hard part. So in a perfect world, yes, we would be
Right.
on the cutting edge of progressively saying, yeah, we're gonna move forward. Like,
Right.
there are other schools that are in the green, like in Penobscot County right now, that are gonna have basketball. And I think Winslow just voted this week to have all their sports. They're gonna have competitive
Right.
winter sports. So like, yes, if we get to green, there's no reason why we can't do all that they allow us to do unless our school board votes to not allow it, which is
Right.
happening in different districts. I hope that it doesn't happen in our district.
So
But
is
it-
there
Good news is
the
school board
potential
was
that,
given a vote.
What's that?
School board was not given a vote in the fall, we were told what happened.
Sure. So this year, this season, hopefully that will be different, and it won't be an administrative decision at the one district level. It'll be a vote, hopefully, so that it can align with the state's recommendations.
so if we go green, there's not as much of that like high risk, low risk
Green changes the type of play, and really, yeah, the different risk levels. So I have to kind of look at it again, but the level of play, if you're in the green, I think goes up to all the way to level 5 now, which is in-person competition between teams within different geographic areas of Maine. And that was updated as of the 13th. So my understanding, based on reading this, is that level 4 can go live, so that's the playing against other towns.
Right.
Level 4 can start after January 11th and on. Levels 2 to 3 can start December 14th for those that are in green.
Okay.
Levels 2 and 3 can start December 14th, and level 4 can start on the 11th. So basically, the only thing that's like kind of outlawed, according to this, for the state of Maine, is levels different states and like AAU kind of. At least that's what it makes it sound like here.
What I was getting confused about is the levels
Yeah.
and the green and the risk levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because each stage or whatever is different dates for different risk levels, right? Like
Say
you
that
can't go to
again.
level 4 with a high risk score, at the same time you go to level 4 with a low risk. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, risk level, lower risk, levels of play allowed. They're not allowing any level 5 and 6 at all. So no matter what, the high risk, low risk, no matter what, that's not you can't do that right now as part of this. You can only do levels 1 through 4 according to this, no matter
Level
what.
4 is what's level 4?
Level 4 is,
Sorry.
no, it's okay, it is complicated. In-person competition between teams from same geographic area, same county, and some adjacent counties. Meaning like your Piscataquis, the Panquist League or
What's
whatever.
like 5 and 6? They're like
5 and 6, in-person competition between teams from different geographic areas from within Maine. I'm thinking that's like basketball tournament season. You can't do it. That's why I think they canceled it. Because
But,
it's not permitted right now.
Like, after January 11th,
Once you go green.
cross-country ski competition could take place in competitions within the geographic location.
Yep.
But wrestling couldn't.
Correct, because that sport is hot. Well, no, I'm sorry, no, that's not true.
That's where I'm confused.
You can do wrestling, football, rugby, and boxing, high-risk sports, only levels 1 and 2 after December 14th. You can never go beyond level 2, which means you can't go do it against anybody that's not in your, level 2 is a team-based practice with physically distanced group performing skills and drills alone. You can't have any competition. You're basically skills and drills only for wrestling, at a period for the rest of the winter, and boxing. You don't ever get to progress past that level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It's very funky. You have to literally go and read the level and then go to the sport and see if it's in that list. So
Yeah.
my interpretation is once you're green, you can do a lot with the towns in your league, and you can play your normal stuff, but with a mask, no spectators. Yeah, 50 or less inside the building, and they say right in here, no spectators.
Yeah.
So for like middle school sports, but you can do it. Like other schools are gonna do it.
Okay.
So
Good, there's a lot of information. Beat that one to death.
Other stuff we wanted to talk about, website stuff, I think we've all been pretty focused on other things right now, but over the course of the winter, I think we'll be able to look at some more. And Jeremy did quite a bit of research and looked at different stuff. I honestly can't remember where we left off with that.
So we talked about cost for that, and I'm just interested to know, Catherine. So, do you remember what that estimated cost was?
$2,400.
Which
Up to
one?
25.
Wait,
400.
Community
the one that
pass.
the one that I did, like the one that I had the
That
meeting
one
with
you
the guy?
recommended, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, it was,
Is it community pass?
no, this was
Rec
the myrec.com, the one that Brewer uses.
Yep.
I'm just thinking like, okay, budget here. Are we close? Are we not? Like, what is it?
So
Do we look through and try to tweak and pull, and how are we gonna make this work?
So at this point, we are going through the budget and taking items out or cutting.
Right.
And so that went on at the last meeting. The recreation budget, because of the amount of hours in it and the fact that we won't have staff working as much as usual, and that was before any changes in Susie's status. We were able to go in and cut about $7,000 out of the rec budget, but I've been asked to look for more money, and so that
Look
process
elsewhere.
is going on. Pardon?
Look elsewhere.
Well, we are looking at the larger budgets that have larger increases, so we're going on to that now.
So I just want to clarify, so what I just heard was, so because we're not using some of the rec budget, that money's being used somewhere else for right now?
Well, it got cut out. What we have is we started out with a new budgeting process we've been using the last couple of years, putting everything in. Instead of having a goal in the beginning, it'll be no more than 2 or 3. Everything goes in. And then you have like a high increase. So the increase that we started out with this year for next year was 7.4%, which is too much. We're in a year when people don't have money, many people are without work or cut hours and everything, extra expenses. So we're trying to reduce that, but it's been very hard to do. So we've gone through the budgets, and there was a lengthy discussion regarding the recreation budget. And so because of the number of hours that you would need likely next year, I was able to cut out about $7,000 from the part-time help, not the recreation director, but the other part-time help, because in reality, they're not working as much or at all at different times. And one of them has found another position, so they're not available all the time. So I was able to cut that out, and I doubt it would really have much of an impact, because we're not going to have a full year of activities like usual. So that worked. So that was able to reduce it. And now they've asked me to check, and understandably so, will we have to have a $4,000 in the budget for field maintenance? And at least this year, I've been told there'll be no bill for field maintenance. So we will have some funds left over in the rec budget this year. So I can't say yes or no, we could add something in. We're at the end of the budget process. But there may be funds in there that aren't going to get used, that haven't been cut out yet. So there may be enough money to do something.
Okay.
If it's about 2,000.
The question is kind of a long line. We're not going to get it, it's not going to be a line in the budget. It's not going to be in the budget
No,
this year.
no.
Which we understand. I would not want to rely year over year on concession sales and things like that to make up the money to pay for them. I would want to make that a fixed piece of the budget. I don't know if I'm alone in that one. I know we would probably make enough to cover it, but.
Yeah, I would say that once you get the program, the first year it's not going to be in there.
Right.
But once you get the program, it should be built in as a line.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's 24.
24?
24.
Yeah. So, really, in the grand scheme of things, not huge, but with obviously the municipal budget, every dollar counts. I think we have a ways to go before we even know
Right.
what direction we're in. I think it would bring a ton of value and stuff. But
Yeah. For what you get, like from what I've been looking at the other ones, for the value of and what comes with that, with the MyRec, it has the most for the smaller amount of value. A lot of the other ones were more expensive, and then they built on as you wanted more things, like it tiered, like kind of like almost anything, like your basic was this amount, but to get what other things you needed, like coaches the ability to see their like rosters and phone numbers and that kind of stuff, it built on itself. And like there was a couple that were like $5,000-6,000. I mean, the MyRec with being 2,400, you got the support from the people, you got the ability to make and put all those documents together, this auto signatures on them. It was a ton of stuff for the value that you get, and plus they're pretty reputable in Maine, with several different towns using them, like Brewer and Hamden and those kind of things.
I think we would just need to really collectively look at it, understand what we're getting for it, make sure we've explored all of our options. Jeremy's done a good job of starting that. And then, like any sales pitch thing, right, I think we want to bring to Catherine and Dean to say, and look at the return on investment, or the cost savings, right? If you can do all your signups electronically with e-signatures and insurance information, everything right through this platform, and it goes right to her team, how many in-person signups is your team not having to do with taking checks and printing receipts and all that stuff?
We could do a calculation.
Yeah, so you just look at, if everyone's
Right.
6 minutes or 8 minutes and there's X number per year.
And that doesn't even count the amount of time that the rec director's looking at it when we could have been using that time to be planning, scheduling.
Yeah, because you can just generate reports out of my rec that say like who all registered for whatever K through 2
Right,
soccer,
and, like, you can do-
and it's
yeah.
just a print instead of having to make rosters and type in
I
right
mean,
all
it
that.
does a lot of t-shirt sizes.
Yeah, so you can put like, you can, it even goes to like pool stuff, concessions, I mean, you can put, I mean, it's all there.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
nice.
one fixed rate unless you start making more money.
Yeah, I don't
And I think-
don't see us making 25.
Like if you make over 25,000, then it moves up, but it's like, it only moves up about $500.
Catherine, are we pushing the 25K yet?
No,
But I'm just
especially-
saying, like, that's where they do, like, if you make more, if you.
You're a
are
big
at-
operation, they
Right.
charge you more basically.
But I mean, it's not like, it's not like a lot, I mean, it's
Extra 500.
it's an extra 500, but
Right.
if you're making that kind of, then it balances kind of
Yeah.
out.
So I think, we got some work to go, probably not the highest priority, but it's a good winter kind of activity to kind of figure out if and what direction.
So the short answer is that I can't add anything to the budget. However, I suspect that in the budget, because of the way things are gonna go next year, the money is there. And if not, we could figure out how to do it. As long as it's 2,400.
Yeah.
Okay. The other item, I think, I don't know if everybody knows, Susie has put in her notice as rec director through the end of the year. Susie? At the end of the year, she will be stepping down as rec director. So first, thank you for doing what you've done over the last few years here. And look forward to picking your brain a little bit before you exit.
Oh, I'm making a notebook, and I'll just give it to Catherine.
Yeah.
Breaking it down by seasons.
Yes, thank you. That's a
You're
very
welcome.
good offer.
It's probably more than I received, so. I have to say though that it will be 100% based on my own experiences, so
Yeah.
it could possibly be a fiction in the near future, so.
So with that being said, what is the path forward for finding a replacement?
All right, so it generally takes a couple of months to find a qualified candidate. We don't get a lot of applications for the part-time recreation director's position. And it's not even the money, it's the fact of you have to have somebody come forward who has the knowledge, but also works part-time or has another income so that they can do this part-time and fit it all together. And so that is very hard to do. So if you know of anyone that would be interested in this in the future, I wanted to talk to you first before I advertised it. And I have learned over the years that if you advertise anything around the holidays, it doesn't work well anyway. But when should we be gearing up for spring sports if we had a normal year?
February,
February, okay?
we really have to start the sign-up process.
Um,
If sports wouldn't even start till the snow's gone, so.
In a normal year, okay. All right, so I didn't want to do anything when you advised me because it just would have been advertised when nobody's paying attention to the newspapers. So I can put it out for its position. We've got the job description, which I put out a copy for all of you. The only item I went through and changed, obviously, was all the committees that were that the rec director coordinates with because of the change and everything. So I took out the names of all the other committees and put the name of the Recreation and Parks and Recreation Committee and then the Manson Park trustees in. I did update the list of the different activities that we've had for both the summer sports and the fall sports. the ones that we've had a lot of, if we had something only once or twice, I didn't put it on the list, just so if somebody was interested, they had an idea of what we may have. And I just worded it in the past, because that doesn't mean that's what we'll have in the future.
Yep.
So, I can put that out next week.
Right. You sent that, did you send that around to us, you said?
It's on
But
the
here it is.
agenda.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering, I didn't want to pick it up, but I thought it was a council thing. Okay, yeah, perfect.
I could
If-
give you a
obviously-
council package, you could have been on the council.
Oh, you're gonna have enough halls and frosts on the council pretty soon, and we will represent it.
So is there still assistant director? Is that Sean? Is
It was
there?
cut to quarter time.
Okay.
But is Sean still filling that
Sean,
role?
you know, like, listening to that meeting a couple weeks ago about the positions like that, Sean and BOCES seem to just work as needed. I don't think they ever have worked whatever the hours are budgeted for, because like Sean will pop up and like help a couple days during basketball season, and he'll pop up and help some days during football season. Baseball, a lot of times he's pretty hands-on, but he just is on an as-needed basis. He knows pretty much everything.
It started out, he was working a regular schedule, but then he had his other activities which he wanted to explore. And sometimes personalities don't go well together prior to you. So the number of hours varies.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that position is still there and
Yes.
Sean is still filling it?
As far as, yeah.
That hasn't
If
changed,
if they
okay.
call on, I guess it sounds
Yeah,
like.
when needed.
He's great.
And
He and I have
available.
always got along good, and he's fine to just like wait for me to just message him and be like, can you do this? And he's like, go on it, you know.
Because I'm gonna ask a dumb question here. You have X number of hours or dollars budgeted for rec director / assistant rec director. If say Sean didn't do anything this year, could Susie
Yes,
burn all those hours for both positions?
yes.
It would still come up. Is there a point at which that person couldn't work any more hours because it would qualify for like a benefit package or something like that?
Yeah, they would have to stay under 30 hours a week
And is that per week, or is it just over the course of the year they have to stay under
per week.
1,080?
Yeah, per week.
Oh, it is, so don't work over 30 hours within a week.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
And it's more of like a time card system, like you write down
Yes.
your hours that you work. Okay.
Okay. So if anybody has thoughts or comments before she posts this, we definitely should take a look at it and get it back to her.
All right, so I'll send the ad in, but I'd like to put it on the website at the same time because so that they can go there and get the job description. So why don't I wait? How many days would you like to look over the job description?
When do we have another meeting? Have we set that?
We
No,
haven't.
probably after the first of the year, but should we meet before that instead?
Well, I guess
It'll
my
be
thought
good.
is, I would love to be able to look down through this and say, you know, I know what Susie's done in the past, and I'm sure in certain places it exceeds what happens here, and in other places, you know what I mean? There's gaps, there's holes. That might be worth looking at this, and
Coming back.
if we want to adapt it in any way, shape, or form, it'd be better to do it now before it's posted.
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah.
certainly be fine with helping you guys in January get winter sports going, you know, for a couple weeks if you need my assistance. If you don't want to rush into something
Yeah.
with a new person.
So.
I just gave Catherine kind of a 6-week time frame, but
Yes,
I'm fine
thank you.
through to January.
Nobody ever does that. Thank you so much.
Would you guys be up for a meeting in a couple weeks to just talk about this?
Like
and
a
then-
working session, like a.
Would that work for you?
I don't, if it's on a Thursday, I don't think it will, but you all can have your meeting, that's fine.
Is waiting a couple weeks okay with you if we wanted to?
No, that's
absorb
fine, that's
this?
why I haven't advertised. It's
Okay.
fun because of when, holiday season, you never get any applicants. And it's just wasting the taxpayers' dollars for the advertising. And two, I figured since you're looking at the overall recreation program, you might have some comments.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to get some candidates pretty quickly. I know we all heard through the grapevine that this may be coming in the coming months. I didn't know it was coming in December, but I've actually got some calls, and Susie's kind of been thinking about it. So
Can I backtrack for one quick second, just to process it? The the two of you stay under 30 hours a week, or just you?
Any person, any person who works part-time,
But not the combination of the two of you?
no,
Like you and Sean together can't go over 30 hours a week, that's not how that is.
No.
no.
An individual
Okay,
person.
I misheard that, I'm sorry. Okay, so
There's no
Sean is
ballpark.
something completely separate, you are 30, it's a 30-hour,
20.
The budget, it's only budgeted for 20.
Right.
why did I have
Because
30 in
it
my
goes up,
brain?
it goes up and
Sorry.
down.
Because he
Ebbs and
has,
flows.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She couldn't go over 30 in a given week because it would require them to operate.
I see, it's it's, okay, so it's
Yeah, it
a
would
20
go
hour
To
week.
maintain part-time status.
Yeah, it
Sorry.
would trigger a part of the personnel policy in most towns that you would have to provide benefits. And we
Right.
have, half of our employees are part-time and a number of them run full-time departments, basically.
Right, I was just thinking in my mind that you and Sean, like the two positions together, assistant and regular director had to stay, but that's not,
Well, to confuse it, technically now it is budgeted for 30 hours a week
Right.
because you cut Sean's to quarter time.
Yeah, you'll be all set on your time.
Yeah.
Because the rec director was doing more and the committee was doing more and the part-time assistants were doing less. So you'll be all set.
okay, yep, I've got it now.
Could you potentially do one person for the 30 hours? And it might look like a more, I guess somebody might be more interested in working a 30-hour position solely, or, I don't mean it as like they want to work by themselves, but I mean, they're gonna make more money.
So what happens when, and this has happened before, we've had candidates that were very good for the recreation director's position, and in their mind was the goal, they would keep etching it up. They wanted 30, so then you could get 32, then you could get your benefits, and so we don't go up near the 30. It could be 25 hours a week, but once we get to 30, that is considered, benefit status, and the benefit package for municipal employees all across the state is very high. The pay is low, but the benefits are high.
Yeah, we have a few candidates that I've talked to, and I think they would do an excellent job. I think you're talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking that you might have somebody that is more qualified, be ready to jump in if, like, they don't have to run a business and run a rec program at the same time. You know what I mean? If there was,
I
something
understand what
more
you're saying.
substantial.
You cannot work more than 20. I mean, in essence, right? You put in time cards some weeks for 24, 25 hours, and some weeks are 15 probably, right? Yeah, so, and if the weeks of 25 and that's outweighing the weeks of 15, as long as you stay within the budget, it is what it is.
I agree, that's where I was going with that too, like would it be,
It just can't be a benefit eligible position because it's cost prohibitive to the town
It
budget.
is very.
That's basically it.
Right.
Like it would be great, and we'd
Yeah.
probably get a stellar candidate if we could make
Yeah,
it a
you
part-time or
drop
full-time position,
$25,000
but
benefit package.
it's not
on
in
top of
the
the
budget.
It's more than that.
Right.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
But it's, all municipalities are like that.
Yeah. So, does everybody want to try and meet in a couple weeks just to kind of compare notes and see if we have any recommendations we'd like to make to Catherine? And then you obviously will post it, solicit candidates, bring them in for interviews, I guess. And
Yes.
would,
would
I know it's
that,
not official, but would you bring any candidates back to this committee to kind of talk about, or would you just kind of make that decision on your own and go for it?
We can do it any number of ways. You could have a representative health interview. We've done that before. I've had a counselor help sometimes committee members, sometimes I do it myself. It depends on how many candidates we get and what I view as the qualifications of the candidates.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes there's only one, and so I hate to say it, but sometimes we hire the person, after advertising a few times, we hire the person that can pass the background check. Because there's no other candidates. After you have nobody and the position is empty for, a long
Is that how you
time.
do it, again, Susan?
That was not what
She
happened.
failed the background check,
Just,
but she
I
failed.
guess sort pool, and then one thing led to another,
Yeah.
and here I am.
But that has
6,
happened
7 years
before
later.
with part-time positions.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, Catherine, just throwing it out there, to Jen's point, if we ever decided as a community at large that this was a high enough priority where we thought that making this a benefit eligible position was something that a certain group felt strongly about, I'm not saying that that's us, I'm just saying, because you said sometimes we just take past the background check, which is not like saying much, right? So I'm just saying if we ever got down the road to the point where we wanted to pursue making a candidate, this being a higher priority for the town budget, what would be the process for that? Would that be appealing to the town council and you for like way in advance, like a year out, to say this is at a budget adjustment, or are you saying like, don't try it, it's impossible to achieve?
We would need to start at least a year out.
Okay.
And so what has happened, just so that you know, we've added several positions to the budget. It has created havoc in the community.
Yeah.
And we were ordered in some aspects to cut positions and everything. And that was after many years of cutting positions, so that we were down for a point for a medium-sized community running this many programs. Everybody's stretched so thin that you just throw everything together and do the best that you can and keep on going to meet all the state law requirements and do the best job you can. And we've been very fortunate that we've been able to do that because we have dedicated people. But when we tried to add positions in, there was huge flack. Nobody ever expected it. I had never seen it before anyplace.
Huh. I was just curious, it's something to
career.
consider for the future, not
think
that we want to patent
That
the
was just
operation.
very uncomfortable. I know other towns go through that, but we've never seen that here.
Yeah, okay.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Not saying we're going there. I think we'll be able to find a part-time candidate.
I think
will
that
suit
you
do
will,
the
and what
job.
will happen is that they'll find with the committee's help, and maybe a different part-time helper, or if the part-time helper we have now could have more assignments and that all worked out well, that they won't need to work 40 hours a week or 30 hours a week.
And Sean, you said Sean was cut down, his hours were cut down.
In the budget, they cut that role to quarter time, really 10 hours a week, I think.
10 hours a week, okay.
Yeah.
Just,
But ultimately, it's a pool of hours.
It's a pool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
You have to put an example in, and then we do that with some of the other departments too, and the hours may be a lot skewed more toward some of the positions than the others, just depending on how much people can work for part-time.
so as in the advertisement, you're going to advertise that as a 20-hour position?
I'm gonna advertise it as a part-time position.
A part-time position, okay.
And that draws them in, and then we talk to them about it, and then we find out what can work and what can't work. But I will say, we have had people before perceive with the part-time positions that if they pushed for it to not be 20, it would be 25, and then someday it could be 32, in a few months they're working on the 32. And so you can tell that during the interviews.
Mhm.
It's just that we've got such huge budget increases and the taxes are very high here. Now, we will see a different situation, but we don't know the extent of it yet. With the Puritan plants coming in, our valuation is going to skyrocket, but we don't know the level to which it will go because the assessors have to go through the buildings and use our charts to figure out the value. We can't just take a figure that Chimbro says they spent 50 million here. We're not going to up the value by 50 million. We have to go through and assess everything. And so once we have those
What exact
figures,
numbers?
we're going to have a lot better idea what the valuation is going to be, which may lower the tax rate or allow for other things to happen. We just got to get through another year to find out where this will fall.
Yeah.
And we always thought this would happen. It just happened a little bit later, 2 years later than we thought, and we would have never gone through those budgets. Process that was uncomfortable.
Now we just need to keep curious.
Right.
Good. Any other topics? Before we set a date, do you guys want to try and squeak in a couple weeks? Does that work? I know it's getting close to holiday, but.
So is that something that we need to, that's something we should probably do here as a live thing as well, or is that something that we could just kind of talk about a
I
different,
think any.
Anything we do needs to be
meeting
here,
has to be-
right?
Any official meeting has to be
Yes.
attended, right?
even a working session too?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Does that fall in the same, like if there's more than two of us, the Robert rule say, or the freedom of information, whatever it is?
Yeah, it's freedom of information. Once there's several of you, like right now, you've got your majority of your board, so your legal meeting taking place, even if it's a workshop or a work session.
Yeah.
okay. So I'm just thinking in terms of scheduling, it could be easier.
So, we could even meet next week, so it doesn't get into like Christmas, you know what I mean? Or how long do we really need to look at this? I just want like more than a couple days, I guess,
Yeah.
Through the weekend?
and a time to meet together to talk, yeah.
Okay.
I can do next
Next week, you're saying?
Yeah, I say like, can we do next Thursday, same time, or?
Is the room available, Kevin? The 10th?
It is now because we had a meeting that was canceled for the 10th. Yep.
Yep,
You guys
works for me.
available?
Yep.
Good.
Okay, let's put it on the board.
6:30 on the 10th? Or do we want to do earlier?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to me.
Did Devin call in, or was he not coming, or,
I never heard from him.
you know?
I don't,
He had classes, I know, so he was they ended at 6:30, so he said he was always gonna be like.
I thought he was gonna come in person.
He was gonna come in person,
Didn't
he's
he
gonna
say
be
so?
like a couple minutes late.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought he said.
something has to come up.
Yeah, it probably got held over.
Yeah,
It's no big deal, we'll just have to text him and let him know.
okay.
So, do you wanna stay 6:30 again, just out of respect to Devin?
Yep,
Sounds good.
that works.
Next semester, we'll get him smartened up with what time his classes in.
And then we remember that job descriptions are just a basic description of what the responsibilities and the duties are. And of course, we've got the comment and all other assignments listed. And this job description is a relatively long one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. Okay. Anything else before we adjourn?
Nope,
Motion we adjourn?
second.
Dale. Thank you guys for coming.
Tomorrow.
Nice to have you here for the meeting.
I'll try to modify it and then send it to you. They made a recommendation.
Is that, did you?
I'm freezing, like, couldn't feel my